I would like to begin with a true story about the single word that decided the 2016 presidential election. On November 7th, 2012, Donald Trump was sitting at his desk in Trump Tower, thinking that his time had come. Mitt Romney had the previous day lost the election to Barack Obama, and Donald Trump was persuaded that the only thing he needed was a good slogan. So he thought, "We will make America great." Make America great. Neither of these seemed quite right, because it suggested perhaps America never was great. And then, eureka, make America great again. That was what he discovered. He said, that's it. He called up his very good lawyers, had them send a check for $325 to the Trademark and Copyright Agency, and he had the slogan, and the rest, as we know, was history. Okay, so the word again. Why is that so important? Because in political narratives, we often see people using a three-part rubric, if you will. Imagining a glorious past which somehow has faded into a degraded present. And yet, if we can somehow reverse this trauma that's led to the degraded present, we can achieve a utopian future. We see this in many, many contexts, and I imagine if you think about this yourselves, you can think of many examples of this kind of narrative. One of the things that we're finding out about over the course of these 2 days is just how simple stories can convey tremendous information, but then also translate that information into emotion, which then motivates action. And so I bring this to you just as a very simple formula that packs a lot of stuff into it. And that's, I think, why we see it so often in political disputes. The glorious past defines membership in the community. It defines the attributes of the community. So even a country that's very new might project itself as having a very old past. In Bosnia, in the former Yugoslavia in the 1990s, we saw all kinds of narratives about how great things were in Serbia back before 1389 when they lost to the Ottoman Turks. The degraded present and the collapse of... I'm sorry, I'm losing my pointer here. What do I point at exactly? There we go. Okay, thanks, Bobby. What brought us from the glorious past to the degraded present is some kind of trauma. And so this transition gives us a sense of what the diagnosis is, what went wrong. And then conversely, with the movement from the degraded present to the utopian future, we see a prescription, which is either explicit or implicit. And drawn all together, because the glorious past was so wonderful, the utopian future could be even better, the degraded present is so intolerable, we also get tension, which can then be used to mobilize people. Now, one of the interesting things about this model is that a lot of it is implicit, and we've heard about gaps existing in rhetoric. Usually, the diagnosis is made very, very clear. Here's what went wrong. We were invaded. We lost our cultural integrity. There were traitors in our midst. What have you? And then the prescription may be left open. In the case of Trump's rhetoric, what's very interesting is that the glorious past, in fact, is not articulated all that clearly. It's not clear exactly what was so great about America in the past, partly because that in and of itself may be rather controversial. But this model gives us a very good sense of how words can be translated into actions using a very simple formula that's very intuitive.